How about them Cowboys? Angry Cowboys Fan. Oh, born to battle. Hey, hey. Some just means we never sell. America's team through thick and thin. Hey, hey. When the sun shines bright, that's when we win. Angry Cowboys Fan.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and Angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. And it seems as if the George Pickens franchise tag situation has gotten Cowboys Nation in another frenzy these days. Some fans want him paid now. Some fans see the situation from both sides. And some fans believe that one side is the issue while the other side is the victim to the opposing side's negotiation tactics. Whatever it is, it's yet another way to split Cowboys Nation up, and it's working. On a clip that was posted from 105.3 The Fan's Shan and RJ, Bobby Belt and Sean Sharif discuss a report from Bleacher Report that talked about a Jeremy Fowler quote when it came to the George Pickens saga. So we're going to take a listen to the 3 clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do. We're going to come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, Angry Cowboys fans, let's take a listen to what Shan and Bobby Belt from 105.3 The Fan had to say.
George Pickens was sniffing around during draft weekend. Jeremy Fowler, friend of the show.
That is the word from Jeremy Fowler. So Jeremy Fowler had gone on SportsCenter on Sunday morning, and I was looking for this cut. I could not find it. But Bleacher Report's always the ones who, like, I think they have writers who sit up on Sunday morning, because this is like the 4th time we've had something in recent weeks where it's like, oh, this is a significant thing that was said, and the only person who has it is Bleacher Report transcribing something at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. But this is what Jeremy Fowler had said about where George Pickens' situation is, why he decided to sign. He said, it's my understanding Pickens at least looked around, gauged his market, what a potential trade could look like if he could come to one with compensation and a new deal. He wants a long-term contract, so this isn't an ideal situation for him, but he signed the tag because it locked him into $27 million guaranteed. I'm told he really does like Dallas. He's been working with Dak Prescott this offseason. He's expecting to have another big year, but it sounds like he's going to have to do one more year to get that big payday down the road. So now that he signed the tender, he's good with the Cowboys. They should move forward. I'm not expecting a trade or new deal at this point, but it was sticky there for a couple of weeks where he was trying to figure out what his market could look like because they wouldn't negotiate.
Well, apparently Jeremy Fowler said that George Pickens went sniffing around the league trying to find potential suitors for a new deal like he and David Mulugeta are supposed to do. That's exactly what this period's for, Cowboys Nation. For David Mulugeta to go shopping around to different teams, seeing if he could get a long-term deal done for his client, that and some long-term money. What I feel they got in return is that no other team was interested in attaining Pickens and his service at such a high price. At that point, it was either sign the tag or not get paid, and I truly believe that holding out is not the right thing for George Pickens. Remember, Cowboys Nation, this is just my opinion on the matter. I mean, I could be wrong. But let's go ahead and jump into the second clip so we can come back and talk about it. Roll the clip.
For these purposes, right now, having him not, go to another team and sign a contract, that stain from Pittsburgh is there. Yeah. I mean, that thing's set into the clothing. Yeah, because, like you had said when they traded for him, he was probably, when Dallas brought him in here, was the most toxic player in the league. Yeah, that was the guy who we've told this story before. Back in the draft a couple years ago, the chatter was that Adonai Mitchell, A.D. Mitchell, went into his pre-draft meeting with the Steelers and within 30 seconds had said something like, oh, you guys got my boy George Pickens. I taught him everything I know. And they went, nope. They didn't say nope to him, but in their heads apparently they all went, nope, not drafting that guy. If he taught George Pickens everything he knows, he's not going to be here. So that's how you could blow a 30 visit or a combine interview in 30 seconds. But that...
damn, Cowboys Nation. Shan and Bobby Belt do know more than I do when it comes to the chatter around the league when it comes to George Pickens. They definitely have a closer proximity to the team than I do, but I would hope that the Dallas Cowboys aren't bringing up this man's negativity from his past in order to drown out the positivity that he's done for this organization. The two situations couldn't be further from each other, Cowboys Nation, but in the realm of a contract negotiation, I guess everything's game, and I would be naive to think that it wasn't. But let's go ahead and jump into the third clip so we can come back and unpack this raw and uncut.
I wonder if that's why they're cracking down so hard on some of the things that we think are little. Like, I mean, I think are little, you think are little, or smaller issues. Like, all right, so he's not showing up to the bus on time. Is that the biggest deal in the world? But where they're like, yeah, if one guy doesn't show up to the bus, fine. If one of the guys who people naturally follow him isn't doing the stuff he needs to do, we got a whole team now that's doing
like,
that.
did George make CD late? Would CD have done that?
Right. That's 100% it. Like, it could be one of those things.
My kid's acting up a little bit, and we're like, we're trying to figure out the base of the problem. He's not doing anything too bad, but we're like, is it this person? Is it that friend? You're trying to, what's the cause? Why all of a sudden this little minor shift?
Yeah, and I think that's, when he's talking about the influence there, I think that is twofold. One, I think that's meant to be a compliment. Two, I think it is a little bit cautionary the way he says it, in terms of just like, he's got a lot of influence. And so I think they're also saying that, with great power comes great responsibility. That whole thing of just, we want him to be on the ball on top of things and doing what he needs to do so that other guys follow.
Y'all know I hate allowing one player to get away with something and letting another player get away with something less. It's just dependent on the talent of the player. That creates another hierarchy within the locker room to me, Cowboys Nation. But I know it's a thing, and it has been a thing ever since football was created. But when you finally put your foot down, people look at you like you got 10 heads when that should have been the standard to begin with. But y'all ready for this raw and uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, raw and uncut.
I'm keeping it real. They keep it real. That's real.
Cowboys Nation, this whole George Pickens situation is getting old real fast. That's all you hear the talking heads and the reporters talking about these days. This is what fills my algorithm whenever I get on social media. Whenever I open the X app, the first post that I see is a George Pickens contract post. The crazy thing is, it puts the fan base on opposite sides of each other. It's another dividing rod. If you've been rocking with the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel, you know that I'm all about coming together and having a discussion amongst the nation instead of debating and arguing with another fan. One just seems more inviting than the other to me, Cowboys Nation. I'm also about hearing a perspective and either agreeing or disagreeing. Depending on the subject, we have a back and forth like adults, but at the end of the day, we can agree to disagree. If I have any questions, it's not to question the person's knowledge about football. It's to get their perspective on the particular topic that we're talking about. When it comes to the whole George Pickens contract situation, I feel as if a fan doesn't agree with a particular narrative, then they're wrong automatically. When it comes to him getting paid, I would love for him to get paid and get a big bag, but I understand why Jerry and Stephen Jones have chosen the path that they've taken. And as y'all know, I was screaming non-exclusive franchise tag before they even came to that conclusion. After sitting and thinking about the possible avenues that the Dallas Cowboys could have taken, if they wanted George Pickens' services but needed time to be satisfied enough to get the deal done, then they would franchise tag him. If they wanted to look like good sports and give the illusion of David Mulugeta having some leverage, then they would place the non-exclusive franchise tag on George Pickens, and that's exactly what they did. If they would have just hit him with the exclusive franchise, then there would have been zero negotiations with other teams. It would have been either deal or no deal, and he has to show up and play for the Dallas Cowboys. Extending that olive branch would have made it look like it was the other team and not the Dallas Cowboys not wanting to pay him right now. Also, I think people get it twisted when I speak about potentials and hypotheticals when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, like I'm wanting those things to happen. How I look at a potential trade, draft, or contract negotiation situation is that I'm trying to put myself in the minds of Jerry and Stephen Jones. From only knowing them through the media, through the television, I try to think of how they would think in a particular situation. But if it was up to me, I would have come to a deal with George Pickens and David Mulugeta and not have him play on the franchise tag. But at the end of the day, it's not up to me. Honestly, Cowboys Nation, it's not up to any of us. Jerry, Steven, and David Mulugeta are going to come to the conclusion that they come to, all the while having Cowboys fans argue with one another about it on X. And you know, I've seen Cowboys fans talk about how the Dallas Cowboys should have gotten a deal done with George Pickens when they traded for him. But according to the May 5th, 2025 article in the New York Post, George Pickens is going to let 2025 play out before he worries about a new contract. The new Cowboy isn't looking to do an extension this offseason, as he wants to show he's a top guy this year. Who we got this information from? Love him or hate him, Clarence Hill Jr. So why was there no fan outcry about him not wanting to get a deal done when he first got here, but there's fan outcry about the front office wanting to see him be the top guy for another year? Wasn't that what he wanted to do when he first became a Dallas Cowboy? Now it's an uproar, Cowboys Nation. Now that the front office is using the same tactics or excuses, there's an uproar from some of the fan base. What if Jerry and Stephen Jones wanted to get ahead of the curve and get a deal done, but they were turned down by David Mulugeta and George Pickens? I mean, it had to have been discussed, because why would George Pickens' camp even come out and say that for Clarence Hill to report on? Needless to say, it sucks that he could possibly go into this year playing on the franchise tag. It sucks for the player because he doesn't have that long-term security. It sucks for the salary cap because it takes a huge chunk out of said cap. It sucks for the owner of the team because of the cap hit that he's getting. But how does it suck so much for the fans that it's causing them to get mad? I mean, real talk, Cowboys Nation. Some fans in the fan base are angry because George Pickens is going to be playing on the franchise tag. Isn't he doing what fans wanted him to do, though? Won't he be a Dallas Cowboy for the 2026 season? It's not like the salary cap's coming out of any of our pockets or anything. I understand that if he got extended, that he could lower his cap hit and possibly bring a player or two to the team. But if the one who manages the cap isn't worried about it, why is the fan base worried about it? Then I've also seen a number of fans talk about George Pickens having a market or not, and it has sparked yet another argument within the nation. Well, Cowboys Nation, I believe that George Pickens doesn't have a market right now, and that's the reason why he eventually signed that non-exclusive franchise tag. The reason why he doesn't have a market is because of the non-exclusive franchise tag. If the Dallas Cowboys didn't place a tag on him and allowed him to just hit the open market, he would have a market. How big of a market is left up to interpretation at this point. We don't know. But the outrage over something that doesn't significantly affect the fan base is crazy to me. Of course I want George Pickens to be extended, Cowboys Nation. I've been saying this through it all. Even when people were trying to trade him in a Max Crosby package, I was saying get the deal done. So it's not the fact that I don't want to see him on this team. I absolutely do want George Pickens on this team. The end-all be-all question that I have with this whole situation is, why is the fan base mad? Is the fan base mad at the fact that he's not getting paid his worth? Is the fan base mad at the fact that $27.7 million is going to be taken off of our salary cap for 2026? Are people mad that the negotiations aren't happening and it's the fault of Jerry and Stephen Jones? What is this part of the fan base actually mad about? He's playing on the Dallas Cowboys this year. He has a star on his helmet. Isn't this what we wanted? This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Cowboys Nation, do you agree or disagree with what Shan and Bobby Belt had to say? What do you feel about this whole George Pickens contract situation? Because I would love to hear it, and you know how we do it. We always talk about it in the comment section. If you're digging this content and you want to help the channel reach its current goal of 20,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video, share it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan, And if you're on your mobile device and you haven't used them up yet, make sure you hype this video. Doing so will help get the content out to Dallas Cowboys fans. They'll come over to the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel and want to become Angry Cowboys fans themselves. And if you are DC for life and you just wish that Jerry Jones would sign George Pickens so that this whole debacle, this whole debate topic would be put to rest, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, or film breakdowns. You can catch the Madden 26 or College Football 26 gameplay on my other channel, the Angry Cowboys Fan Gaming Channel. I'll make sure I put the link to that as well as the gamer tag in the description. This just seems like another dividing rod within Cowboys Nation that Cowboys fans can argue about. In my own personal opinion, we knew that this was coming. Why all the outrage now? He'll have a Dallas Cowboys uniform on this season. He'll be playing for the Dallas Cowboys. Not only that, but we still have 2 months until the July 15th deadline. The two sides could potentially come to an agreement before then, Cowboys Nation. So I'm not going to be outraged until it's official. So July 15th, if George Pickens isn't extended, then you might see a video of me cussing out the Jones boys. But until then, I'm going to look forward to the 2026 schedule release later on this month. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.